to the very first episode of Wake Up Before the Monsters Get You. I am Keenan.
I'm Dylan.
And welcome.
Welcome.
Now, today is the very first episode, so bear with us. This is not going to be our permanent set. What you see behind us is not permanent whatsoever. Any technical issues, bear with us, please.
We might be a little rusty, we might be a little confused at some point, so just keep going. It's going to get better, trust us.
Yes. We have never been together in front of a camera, but we have worked together on the stage, so hopefully this will work out just as well.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be great.
So, today's topic.
Oh, yes. Today's topic is going to be about your worst, most awkward, just the most embarrassing party situations you've ever been in.
See, the thing is, I've only been to one party, and it was very uncomfortable.
I've been to multiple parties, and most of them are pretty uncomfortable.
Yes.
So, we feel like this is a good range of conversation.
Yes. Would you like to start off the show?
Alright, sure. So, the idea for this first topic, we were kind of stumped on what we were going to talk about.
We were.
And then I was talking to Keenan, and I said, you know what, Keenan? I was at this weird party just the other day for my brother and all his, the people who are going to his college, University of Chicago. Now, of course, these are all people who are college freshmen and college sophomores. Some of them are college juniors. So I had literally no one to talk to. So I'm on my way there, and I'm talking to my mother, and she says, "Oh, Dylan." That's not how she actually sounds. I'm exaggerating it. "Oh, Dylan, don't worry. There'll be other siblings there and other kids there to talk to you." There aren't. So if your mother ever says, "There'll be other siblings there to talk to you," there won't be. I'm very sorry. You're going to be awkward.
Now, what made that so uncomfortable? What made that experience so uncomfortable?
Well, usually when I go to parties with my peers or my family members, I'm around in the same kind of intellectual level.
Yes.
Of course, but when I'm with them, and all of these college people going off to be intellectuals and academias, I don't know if that's the right word.
We don't know. We're 15.
I feel so intimidated. It was just insane how awkward it was, because I couldn't talk to anyone about things that I could talk to about, or I had a range of knowledge with, because they just hadn't thought about that stuff in 4 years.
Exactly. What did you do to cope with this? Like, how did you deal with this?
I talked to parents. Now,
talk to parents.
People will say, "Oh, parents, they're just gonna be all weird and emotional because their kids are going off to college." Actually, it was pretty interesting. We talked about things that eventually, my parents and them talked, and I just kind of stood in the background. That was the most awkward part. But then their conversation eventually shifted to, "Oh, and he has a sibling who is 15. Here he is now."
Well, that seems like a fantastic way to cope with that, and I'm glad that you had parents there.
Oh yeah.
If
I was just with my brother, that would have been so much worse.
Oh yeah. See, the very first party that I have that I ever went to, like the first proper party, like I've been to cast parties for like shows, but I've never been to like a proper party.
We're actors, if you haven't noticed.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
My first like proper party was at my friend Lauren's house, and he's a Mormon.
Okay.
And it was a Halloween party. And it was last year when I was a freshman in high school, and there was one other person there who was my age.
I just feel like this is a powder keg, just waiting to just explode.
And it was our friend Jake. It was our good friend Jake.
Oh yeah, Jake.
So basically, I went over to Jake and I said, "Jake, have you ever been to a party before?" And he said, "No." And I was like, "Me neither. What do I do?" And he was like, "I have no idea." So basically, what ended up happening was in his house, in Lauren's house, he has a little roundabout connecting his hallway to his kitchen to his living room, and what ended up happening was I would just walk around that constantly. I walked around that a few times. Then
looking for something to do.
Yes, looking for something to do. And we were both just walking around it, just absolutely nothing else, just walking around it. And then we met Lauren's younger brother, who was he is a year younger than us. And so, what ended up happening was we went into their entryway room, where they have most of like their musical stuff, and it's pretty separate from the rest of what everyone was doing, you know, fraternizing and being high schoolers and having a party and stuff. And we just told Yo Mama jokes for about a solid hour.
Do you have an example?
What? No, I do not have an example. We told Yo Mama jokes, and then I read off of FML, and that was a fun experience. But it was very uncomfortable because people actually like went into that room when we left to go get snacks. For about 3 seconds, we left to go get snacks, and then people came in there. I was like, okay, what do I do now? So then I walked outside, and I was the only person outside. I was like, it is damp because it was Halloween, or it was actually it was a few days prior to Halloween. And you know, Lauren, he has very distinct dance skills.
Oh yes.
So I found confidence in his Thriller. He knows every single move to Michael Jackson's Thriller by heart. It's fantastic. And
now, one interruption. If he can learn to do the lean without any support system, that would just be the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it would. Now keep in mind he's a very lanky person. He's not very lanky, but he's very skinny. So you see this, he's very skinny white Mormon kid doing this, and it's just so entertaining. But the whole experience was just kind of uncomfortable because I didn't know I hardly knew anyone there. And then Jake and I made a shocking discovery. Because they are a Mormon family. They are very devout. They have a portrait of Jesus, but not like a regular Jesus that you'd see in like maybe a Catholic church where he's like scrawny. Right. But Mormon Jesus, very muscular, very buff.
Really? Muscular Jesus?
Yes. No, specifically Mormon Jesus is buffer than Catholic Jesus.
Huh.
Yep.
I wonder if they ever run to the street there, if it's like, my Jesus could beat up your Jesus.
See, I thought about that too. And then I remember, you know, going back to like childhood and be like, my dad can beat up your dad. Well, my brother can beat up your brother. My dad's 5'6".
Yeah, I always feel pretty confident. Whoa, we're getting off on tangent. Anyway. So there are certain things you can do during a party, and that's just to keep yourself entertained. One of the things is what you did. You found somebody of your own age group who had similarities with them, and then you stuck with them, and you did things that you were both entertained by, and it was just great. You had a okay time.
Yes.
Another thing is finding someone to talk to at all. Just anyone, and then you just talk to them for a good amount of time, and soon you realize you've been talking to them for an hour, or half an hour, or a certain amount of lengthy time that you didn't realize had passed.
And so, with that, our uncomfortable experiences made less uncomfortable by peers and parents. We have to end off the show, cap it off, heading over to Sean with our weekly bacon breakfast. Delicious.
So delicious.
Hello, I'm Sean, and welcome to the weekly bacon breakfast. This week we'll be making the Bakelicious sandwich. What you'll need for this is 5 eggs, some sort of ham, shredded cheese, sliced cheese, you can slice it yourself, some bacon bits, and obviously some bread. Then you also got to remember the bacon. First, preheat your oven to 375. Then heat up 2 pans. Butter the one that you're going to use for your omelet. Then start putting the bacon strips onto the cookie sheet, which you have covered in tinfoil. Fit as much bacon on as you can. Now stick it in the oven for 7 minutes. Now put the rest of your bacon onto your second pan. Make sure it all fits in there. Now put all your eggs into a cup and stir it up with a fork. Then shred up some ham and toss it in there and stir it again. Then put in some of your shredded cheddar and stir it up. And finally, the bacon bits. Plenty of bacon bits. Then pour it out evenly into your pan. Don't forget to flip your bacon. Time to pull out the bacon. Now take your bacon out of the oven, flip it, and put it back for another 4 to 5 minutes. Flip your panned bacon again. You want to make sure to cook it evenly. Now, flip your omelet to the best of your abilities. Of course, in the end, it should all cook evenly anyways. Now flip your bacon again and put it onto a plate with something to soak up the grease. Now flip your omelet again, let it cook a bit, and put it onto a plate. Now pull out your oven bacon and put it onto a plate with something to soak up the grease. Then take a piece of bread and put 3 pieces of oven bacon on it. Then lay down a slice of cheddar. On top of that, put 2 pieces of panned bacon. Then get a nice cut out of the middle of your omelet and put it on top. This will be in the middle of your sandwich. Next, put on 2 more pieces of panned bacon. Then another slice of cheddar. To top it off, put 3 more pieces of oven bacon. And then your last piece of bread. Push it down. It might want to come apart. And that is the Bakelicious sandwich. Don't forget to clean up.